With Book 6, the war is going to start in earnest, and it'll last for 4 of the 18 books of the epic, all the way through the end of Book 9. It's actually going to spill over into Book 10, we'll find that out. It's clear that describing all of the different battles and killings that take place during the war in graphic detail is the central preoccupation of the Mahabharata's bards. The war books are named after the primary generals for the Kaurava armies, for each book. So it's Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and Shalya. Each begins with the inauguration of that character as the general of the army and ends with their death, and then an increasing amount of chaos and disorder for Duryodhana and the other Kaurava princes. The war will last 18 days until Duryodhana's final defeat. The first 10 of these is with Bhishma as the general, and these are covered in Book 6, the Bhishma Parvan. The next 5 days are with Drona as the general, and that's Book 7, Drona Parvan. The next general for the Kauravas is Karna, Book 8, and he's going to last only for 2 days. And then in Book 9, a driver named Shalya becomes the general for Duryodhana's rapidly crumbling army, but by nightfall of that same day, he's dead, Duryodhana is mortally stricken, and the war is all but over. Meanwhile, for the Pandavas, even though they come out of the war as the victors, these 18 days represent a kind of massive descent into immorality. All of them repeatedly break the rules of war and martial honor. They lie, they attack unfairly, they cheat, they hit below the belt. That thing called dharma, which they held so dear, that ideal of maintaining the law, abiding by moral code, maintaining your honor, virtue, it all gets sacrificed for the sake of the higher good, so that in the larger battle against adharma, dharma with a big D can prevail. It's ultimately orchestrated by Krishna, who's there to offer advice and strategy to the Pandavas, but who also condones every immoral action that they do, and who ultimately becomes the kind of person responsible for leading them into the new Kali age that the war is going to usher in, with its new set of rules, its new dharma, its new guidelines for how we can be a good person in this world of ours. So let's take a look at what happens in the first of these war books, the Bhishma Parvan, which is going to last for 124 chapters. It's massive and takes place over 10 days of the war. First, the two sides meet and agree on the basic rules of engagement during the war. And this follows a traditional Kshatriya code. You can't fight at night. You can't strike someone who's defenseless. You can't gang up on anybody. And above all, you have to maintain a fair fight. Then there's a messenger named Sanjaya. He's Dhritarashtra's messenger, his kind of formal messenger, and he gets a divine sight, a divya drishti, that's going to allow him to watch everything that happens on the Kuru battlefield all at once. And he is going to report everything to the blind king. This is actually how the rest of the books get narrated, these war books. Sanjaya acts as a kind of news reporter, telling us everything that's happening on the battlefield. Sanjaya then describes to the king what happens when Arjuna surveys the Kaurava armies that are assembled on the battlefield. He loses his will to fight. He realizes something. He's going to have to kill his elders, his teacher, his cousins, everyone that he loves. And he feels like it'd be better for him to renounce it all and go sit in the forest and meditate. Now Krishna, who's his driver, then sits him down and gives him an important set of philosophical and religious teachings, which gets known as the Bhagavad-Gita. After this, the war begins in earnest. Bhishma kills 10,000 warriors every day, and the Pandavas' armies take a massive hit. It's of course impossible to kill Bhishma because he's the one who gets to choose the hour of his death. So after the 9th day of this battle, the Pandavas decide to go at night and ask Bhishma, hey, how can you be killed? He explains that he will not attack a warrior named Shikhandi because he's actually a woman, that woman named Amba, and he offers that this is the only way that he could be killed. So the next day, the Pandavas put Shikhandi at the front of the formation and approach Bhishma. When Bhishma lowers his weapons, seeing someone he considers to be a woman, everyone gangs up and attacks him, and Arjuna, hiding behind Shikhandi, deals Bhishma a mortal blow. But actually, Bhishma's not going to die. Instead, with so many arrows that are pierced him, the arrows create a bed on which he rests right there on the battlefield. And then Arjuna shoots an arrow into the ground, which creates a fountain of water so that Bhishma can drink as he lies there dying.